Hi, it's David here with Future Trading. I made a video on yesterday with the market structure tips, and that's for the supply and demand. So, because I've been getting actually a few questions about volume, I want to make a video that kind of incorporates that as well. So, the um, the indicators that I provide, and I'm gonna put that in front of you so you can kind of see what it looks like. Not just the one in the video with the no close and the level. I'm gonna show you some other the other functions that it has, but I want to touch on volume. I want to kind of revisit the market structure, supply and demand, using the real time because if the volume is there, then of course the supply and demand is kind of a function of that. So it's a good questions that I've been getting about it, and so we're going to touch on that as well. And the market is clearly closed, but Bitcoin is running. So, and I have a little bit of free time here on the weekend. So, I want to kind of just make this video for all of those that want to know about volume. And we know it's going to chop. We at least I hope it does a lot of that too. I do because I've been getting questions about chop too. So I made a couple videos on the channel, but it's okay now to, I guess, let's go revisit that because I've been covering some of the other information here about when it would turn, and I just want to make sure that we take notice of, hey, sometimes it don't turn, but it's kind of grinding, it's doing the trend, but it's just won't get on its way. It just won't take off. So let's do a little bit of that too. But I'm gonna highlight, of course, the value, the market structure here, and then I'm gonna talk about the indicators a little bit. So for those that have already purchased the indicators and those that may be interested in the indicators, I'm gonna, point out to you some of the things that it does. I was reluctant to do a video extensively about the indicators because I'm really not here for that. But I know, people have been purchasing them and they're interested. So, but down here, I did this a couple months ago, offering that indicator. And of course, my service is down here. I put it at the bottom of the page because I'm not here for that. I just want to give you guys something free. But of course, if you want to look at the chart like mine, it would make the job a lot easier. Now, let's um let's look at the chart, and I'm gonna talk to you a little bit more about this functionality that these tools have. I am a very limited individual when it comes to coding. I'm not the best at it. I'll be the first to admit. I just put what I can into it. If I know how to do a little bit of coding, I'll do what I can. But I know some of you have other platforms, and I'm not there when it comes to coding. I'm just not that versed. I actually learned this years after I had started trading, and again I'm still not that great at it. But maybe at some point, if maybe at some point, just maybe at some point, if I feel up to it, I'll try to start considering how to code for TradingView or something like that. So I know that's a popular platform. But as of right now, I'm just not there. So yeah, it's only provided for NinjaTrader 8 users. Now, the information that you're seeing, if you're new to the channel, you're just trying to get this mid above this high, which is this black horizontal line here. And clearly it's there. So this bar should turn green, and then a no close text should wind up under this bar. And then that volume text should appear down here as well. And if you're going down, it's the opposite. It's just this, you want this mid below that bar's low, it should go down. And then for this one, it should go up. All right. So black line above there. I didn't put the bar timer up here. Do forgive me. Um, but the mid is above the bar. Okay. The bar is high. Okay. And so the bar should turn green. There's your text. All right. So it's just grabbing that volume, throwing it under there, and there you have it. All right. So now this is just calculating buy and sell value. All right, that's all it's doing. A little simple function, that I was able to get done here. Now, with the indicators, uh, you can get the value by itself without the NC. Its functions, different functions I have for the indicator on NinjaTrader 8. You can get the value without the NC or the level, or you can get the value with the NC, without the level, or you can just get the levels by themselves, or you can get it as it is in the videos. And I'll just slide this out the way so you can see where it's the level and the NC. So, and you can also get the sound file. Now, I don't have the sound file up here. Yeah, I don't. I don't want to hear it. But the strong buy, strong sell show up when the patterns show up. So, if the pattern plots, text or whatever shows up, you'll hear strong buy, strong sell. Now, if you're someone that don't want the text on the chart at all, or the levels or anything on your chart, you can just clearly just put the sound file on, and it'll alert you to the setup that is there. All right. So again, you can just have the volume show up on your chart. You can have the volume with the no close, or you can have the levels by themselves. And so I made sure that the levels, are standard by themselves, because sometimes if you have the volume on the chart, if you don't offset that text right, the line will get in the way, the level will get in the way. So I just wanted to make sure that you have different functionality there. And of course, you got the bar color and the bar outline, which is pretty standard and simple. It's not really anything. It's really not anything to code some of these, to be quite honest with you. But again, I'm not the best. I'm not the best at this. I'm just telling you, it's the coloring, the outline, the bar outline, absolutely nothing to it. All right. So really simple stuff. If you want to take on that endeavor to do that, you're more than welcome. But again, I provide all of it, and like I said, you get sound files and the volume here. You can get that as well. Yeah, I don't mind throwing that in there. So this right here, you can have that, and that's just reading again the buy and sell volume while the bar is moving. That's all. So you don't have to look at a sub window. Look down below. All right. So now let's okay, yeah. So now I'm gonna bring this back probably in a minute so we can look at that. But I did leave the volume here. I left it here for you. So now I got just a minor profile here, with the range high, range low, the point of control, and then I got another volume tool that gives you the highest volume of the bar. Okay, that's all it is. The highest volume of the bar based on I guess the session of what's going on. So another simple tool. And then I got some more volume down here, better volume. I got that down here. So if you're familiar with any of these other indicators, then yes, go ahead and trade them if you're used to trading them. I actually this is what is this? I can't recall it right now, but this is a popular one, I know. But profiling, that's something. Now, here's something for you to know. I can tell you this is nothing to it. Profiling is chop. That's all it is. People can kind of make it all complicated all they want. Just the more bars that sit in the area like doing this, you're going to get that bell curve. So if you don't know anything about trading, there's some little bit of information for you. It tends to just be right in areas where you get several overlapping bars, to make it simple. All right, that's pretty much all that's happening with that. Now I want to talk to you about the now I put this other stuff up here so you can kind of look at it while we're talking about market structure, and you may take an interest in, of course, that volume aspect, and I'll bring the other bars back so you can kind of see the indicator and see that it plots the value along the way. And this this measurement here is just the fib. I just took the fib. The midpoint, the 50% of the midpoint, is just the only thing that I'm using. Now, this area here, and again, this is Bitcoin on a 1 minute chart. You're more than welcome to go back and take a look. I look here. Now, this is what I'm looking at. All right, so it pushed up. Yeah, it broke this high. It did. It broke that high there. But it didn't get the mid of this push didn't get above that high. It leaned down and then it pushed. Now this right here, this is okay. This is okay. I get it. Okay. Now, when it pushed from here, up here, it did pause. Now the pause is what I'm measuring. All right. So, but see, now remember this push right here, when it broke this high, the mid of it wasn't above this high, but then it leaned down. Now, when it pushed up, it paused here. And when it paused here, you just measure. It's give or take. Let me make this a little bit exact. Yeah, that's the push out of this area. All right. So let me move this up. just a hair or two. It wouldn't make a difference. The mid is above the high of this little pullback here. So this little drop back here, there's a requirement to how I pick these areas too, like even the pullbacks. But I'm gonna just do standard out the box, just because if you're starting new with trying to do structure, I'm gonna pick anything and everything, and again, you'll still do pretty fine with it. You would, but there's of course a couple things that I'm gonna leave out, but you should still do fine because of the midpoint is above this bar's high. Well, this pivot's high because that midpoint is above this high. They're here. It's just as simple as that. All right, they're here. Now they can respond here. This is typically your no close level. All right, so now let me pull this in view. This may help you kind of envision what I'm doing because I'm taking that whole market structure thing and I'm giving you the universal price action pattern in a very simple way. All right, we don't have to make trading complicated. I advise you not to do that. Let me just slide this back. I need my draw tools. I advise you not to do that. So we're going to take that same concept with that mid. Okay, we're going to take that mid of the bar and we're going to treat it in regards to the run. So here's your run. Okay, so here's your run. If you're new to trading, here's your run. The bar retraces back and then it takes off again. So you get a little wick on the bottom of the bar. All right, but when it takes off, it's really important that the mid here gets above the high of the other bar. Okay, it really important. So now when you look at this move here, okay, this is just a bar. That's all it is. Let's not make it complicated. Throw a bunch of fancy words on it. I don't want to do that stuff. That to me is not how you do it. So the wick be back here. You go up, and so then the middle of that bar is above this bar's high. So then this becomes the no close level, which is the NC. And then this becomes your hard stop down here. All right. So then this becomes your hard stop. Right. Now, what I did was, and I did it purposely, I went and grabbed, okay, because you can see they kind of went one tick outside of that. At least I believe they did. Let's just get this low. 720. So 720. Let's get this here low 720. Actually, they touched it to the tick. That's it's still all one and the same. I just grabbed this because hey, you leaned over and then you start wiggling. Just go with that. Again, there's a couple things I'm not including, but as you can see, they touched it to the tick. So low 720, low 720. All right. So really now I'm checking one more time for you. 720, and then let's get this one more time just to be certain. 720. All right. And so then they leaned over and then they ran out of that area. They ran out of the area and they took off running. Now, on the way up, we can do the same thing, you know. So they lean over. Let's see, did this offer us the same kind of activity here? I'm trying to get it exact. Yeah, that pretty much yep. So this I'm gonna pick everything. Everything, okay? I want to pick everything for you. So if you're new, if you're new to trading, you're not going to know which ones unless someone tells you. You're not going to know which ones to do it with and which ones not to. So let's just pick them all and just see if you go about it this way, can you get it to give you what you would want? And so then this becomes, the area of interest here, just on this pivot. Not so much this one, but you can grab that one if you like. And then they run again. All right, so now we're gonna go to real time in just a second. I just want to do a couple of these on this side of the fence so you can kind of see why they at this area and kind of taking back off. All right, so this mid is above, this high here. This high here is above there. All right, so let's go here because this will be a candle. That will be a candle. All right, so you get it. You didn't really get it there. This mid wasn't above that. Now, if you take this area in here, you would say, yeah, back here, I believe it. Yeah, they did that. They did that. Let's see, low, 75, 67. Let's go here. Let's measure this. 75, 47. Let's get that low again. 67. So they went under that a little bit. That's fine. That's fine. Yeah, I kind of like, let's do it from here through this high because this is, something, let's do that. Okay. So now that they didn't get, they didn't get the halfway point above that. So, I would definitely just don't trail it too close. And that's why I say you gotta kind of know what you're doing when it comes to picking this stuff. You gotta kind of know just a little bit more. And so up here, but again, pick them all, pick them all, pick them all. Please pick them all. We're gonna do a little bit in real time, but I wanted to give you just a little bit on the way up, and then of course this decline here. You can do the same thing if you will. If you're not getting it off the high, so they made this low here, and they didn't break it and put the mid under there. Just wait until that show up. That's all. You can wait until that show up, and then you get a push here. It lifted up here, and then it took off running way down here. All right, so this becomes the no close level. There's your hard stop, and there's the zone. All right, so now they're kind of stuck between the two. Now let's look at it in real time just for a little bit here. And again, this is for if you want to know what's the functions of the indicators, because I know when you look at the video for those that have already purchased the indicators, the indicator is what you're seeing in the video. And this is enough. I'm gonna be honest, it is enough, but I just try to include several other functions for you, just in case you're someone that like a little volume or you just want some levels. I don't want you to be stuck with the text. So I just try to make a little bit of, or you're someone that don't want any of this stuff on your chart and you want that sound. Well, I'll give you the sound file as well. So now they ran up there, they hit the level. Now let's examine what's back here as they come back. I kind of wanted some chop. I did, but they're not doing that. I just kind of wanted that. It would have been okay if they would have. Now we'll say this. I'm gonna measure everything, but I really don't like the one bar scenario. I kind of stated that in another video. So let's go with this. You know, let's go with this. The one bar scenario is fine. It is fine. It depends on what type of trading you're doing. That's all. I'll say it like that. I ain't gonna make it complicated for you, but I'm gonna pick everything. I'm gonna just pick everything. I'm gonna put this here, and then I'm gonna put another box for the other area. Like I said, if you a beginner trader, I want you to pick everything until you catch on, just until you catch on, or unless you again you get that training, and that's something that I do provide. But I'm not here for that. You don't have to purchase my services. You don't. I'm not here for that. I do just fine with my trading. View the content on the channel, and you'll see I do okay. Anytime I can tell you this stuff for free, I do just fine. All right, so not here for that. But if you want to learn more, clearly, the number and email is below the video. Totally up to you. Want to give you some free stuff to get you on your way, though. Want to get you there. So now you can look at your point of control. This is definitely falling in the box that I would have picked. You don't need this profile to know that is important. But again, I want to give you some volume stuff. So now let's look at the volume down here. So we're getting the volume down here on this bottom here as they pushed into the high. I guess it's a climactic and churn. So you're getting the volume up here. Now to make it just simple for you when it comes to volume, you got several conditions that you can have. But go and learn about it. I'm not going to teach it to you, but go and learn about it. There's some climax and churn going on up here. But I do want to put it on the chart for you to see it. I do want to put it on the chart for you to see it. You can have several conditions. The reason why I'm not going to teach it to you, 'cause I teach universal concepts. And that's why I don't dive into trying to teach you volume. I'll show it to you in relation to the universal concept so you can kind of see how it can gel itself together. Because once you go and tell someone something about volume, and here's the thing, and it don't show up, all the time, that's going to affect the bottom line. And I don't want that for you. So I'd rather tell you something that's going to show up more often than not. And it's not too subjective, it's not too complicated to interpret. Volume can be a little bit tricky because sometimes you can get, just a little bit tricky. Sometimes you can get the climactic green and it'll run even further. And then sometimes, as you can clearly see, you can get the climactic green and it'll go back the other way. So I don't want to do that to you. I don't want to see you had some climactic green down here. You see, they had the climactic green, they leaned over. But then here you get the climactic green, and it actually is, something to ignite it. Even though it leaned back down, it's something to get it to go. All right. And that's something I want you to pay attention to. Now, when it comes to volume, I'm gonna find here's another one here for you. Here's a climactic green here, and you gotta run. Now, in some of them, you get the turn around. Here's another one that's green, you get the run. So I don't want to tell you that every time you get the climactic green, it's just going to take off. You just got to make sure that it's in context. So here, let's find you the blues. Let's look at the blues. We're gonna let this thing play out just for a little bit. So you got the blue here, and then it lifted up. Let's look at the blue here. Okay, so you got the blue here, and that's a green bar, and it took off. So that's why I can't just outright teach you the volume. I was trying to give you a couple of examples, try to dig through it a little bit. And notice how I had to dig through this stuff a little bit to get you those examples. Now, let's pick apart some of this because I know, this is up here. I know this is up here and they didn't lean all the way back. And you probably would have wanted to benefit to on the way up. You probably would have wanted to be able to grab this on the way up. Now you probably could have bought it here. And I would say probably because it just all in, how you interpret charts. It can be intimidating at best if you step in front of the market and you don't understand how to get it all to work. All right. So let's do this. Let's measure this. Okay. And we're going to kind of make sense while it's trading. I want you to pay attention to while it's trading. Look at everything. Pause the video if you need to. I want you to look at everything while it's trading. So they lifted up, they broke this pivot. We're going to just go right here, right there. All right. So let's do this. And we know they broke through it. I'm just giving you an example on the way down while it's coming down towards you. And we're going to talk about the trend. I'm doing market structure and value right now, as well as trying to highlight the tools. So, those that have questions about it that have them and is using them, and of course those that may be interested. Hopefully, this will kind of shed some light on how to implement the information. Now, again, you may use something totally different. Let's get another one. You may use something different than volume, so you might have to. Let's do this one. Went up to about right there, so now that's not gonna get it. Let's do some of these smaller ones. Okay, so again, I don't really like the one bar scenario. So but we'll get this one. We'll get this one. Let's see if this one did it. No, that didn't do it. We're gonna try to pick as many of them as we can because you're new and you don't know anything about trading. No, didn't none of them do it. And you can kind of tell with the behavior. Let's even do this one. Let's do this one with the one bar. Yeah, yeah, that kind of that run right here from that one red bar up, that kind of gave you that scenario. So this will be the no close here. Again, do as many of them as you would want. Now there's some other things that I will say that so we will go just do something like this on this turn here. All right. Just do something like this. We know they're not gonna come all the way back down here. At least not right now. So at least not in the time that I'm going to shoot the video, but I want to put this here just in case you look at the video and maybe later they'll come back. All right, so we would put that there. All right, so because this little area right here was able to get it done. And as you can tell, they leaned over after hitting that box and they just didn't get back, back there. But they wind up taking off because realistically, it is supposed to be your no close level. What I've measured should be your no close level. And then, this would be the hard stop. All right, so let's see what they're doing. Let me give you some of this information off to the left. Let me give you some of that too. Is there anything over there that we can look at? Yeah. So let's go over there. Let's go over there and take a look at that pivot over there. Let's go take a look at that pivot over there. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lock that box and we're gonna look at the volume on the volume chart with the bars. We'll take a look at that. I believe it was this pivot over here. I believe it was that pivot. All right, so yeah, so I think it was this one here. So let's just put a horizontal line on that. Let me just put a horizontal line. I'm gonna make it red so I know it's that one. I don't want to get it confused with the value line there. All right, so Let me load that and come back. And oh, I'm too far out. Okay, hold on. I'm a little bit too far out on that one. Where is the other pivot? Oh, I think it's this one. Let me see. Did they pass this one? Do forgive me. I'm trying to see where we're at. Okay, so there we go. That's one pivot, and I believe it's one more above this one. So let's get another horizontal line here. Now keep an eye on all that value. Keep an eye on that. Even though I'm not marking what it's doing right now, just keep an eye on it as I do this. That's all. And we're going to again look at value. I'll do it with you. I know people use different things. I don't want to highlight the channel with a bunch of different indicators because I vowed not to do that. But I do provide volume text with my indicator, so I don't mind touching on volume. I don't, not at all, because I do offer an indicator that has it attached to it. So this is something that we can cover because supply and demand it's what the market is. It's supply and demand. So volume is okay. I don't plan to go down a rabbit hole of oscillators and support and resistance tools. I'm not doing all of that. That's, to me, that's not professional trading. But to each his own. To each his own. If you want to use that stuff, that's totally fine. Volume to me is about as far as I think that I'm willing to entertain anyone, and that's mainly because again, I offer it with the bars. I think it's okay because volume is inside the bars, and so if I'm saying that these bars are important, then I don't mind telling you, hey, check out the volume if you want to, and see if it makes sense. So now Let's highlight let's highlight both of those green bars. Okay, so both of these we're gonna go and take a look at these green bars in relation to the value. All right, so we're gonna go and take a look at this because they the ones that kind of bust through this area here. So now let's go. I'm gonna lock it. Let me lock it. I'm not gonna make it green because that's not meeting our criteria here. Just put it on all charts. Okay, now let's take a look at it here. Okay, so now let's check our volume here. All right, so yeah, we got it increasing on the way up into that high. Okay, so we're getting that increase. It's increasing now. It's trying to turn down. It's trying to. Now let's look at it with some of the other green bars here. Okay, so yeah, yeah, I get it. All right, so yeah, they kind of dipped back, losing a little bit of it, just a little bit. It had a little bit more back here, and so if you ask me, now this is just my opinion of the tools. If you ask me, having the text or the volume, whichever one, it doesn't matter. It makes more sense to have this tool uh, for I would say historical purposes. So if you want to look, pre-adventure what has happened already to help you with what may be moving forward. That's a necessity to have it. Definitely in real time, it's useful as well because it'll again it'll highlight the stuff. But if you're trying to go back in the chart, let's say it wanted to start trading down, to visually have to take that time and see if the mid is above this bar's high, and the mid is above this bar's high, or see if the mid is above this bar's high. With Bitcoin, it's pretty easy because these bars, I mean, they'll go real small on you and then open up the range fairly well on several bars. With the NQ, it's a little more tricky because they don't like to do just blatant big bars all over the board. I mean, they put in such a mixture that you won't be able to readily identify right away anyway, just combing through the data, if you're going historical, you wouldn't be able to just readily do it so quickly, I'll say, so quickly. You can do it. It may take you a little bit. And so that's why having the tool, and that's why I made it. Because when you want to just look at an area really quickly to see if you can assess, because the NQ, it'll take off real fast too on you. If you want to assess what it's doing right away as it approaches an area, the tool will highlight where that's at versus you having to comb through it and still having to make that decision when it gets there. So just a function that I think is a little bit useful. So now let's take a look at our volume. Yes, it built itself down here. Now you got to think of it like this: when this green bar was heading up, All right. Now you can go back and rewind the video. When the green bar was heading up and it was in transition, doing this, going up and down, the moment that that black marker, okay, got above the high of this green bar, you supposed to be in that trade. All right. You supposed to be in it. No soon that black floater got above that high, you can get in the trade. I'll just say you can get in it. Now, sure, it depends on the clock. It could turn around, even though I don't have it on the chart. Do forgive me. Even if it decide that it wants to turn around, you got to think about it. You're going to lose less. That's all. You'll lose less if you get it wrong. That's all. Then otherwise, the no close level will pop up here. Okay. And then you will get the NC here, and you'll be net positive in this bar as it's completing itself. So it won't be like way up here somewhere, and then you're having to, get in up here. This volume is going, remember, this volume is based on bars overlapping. So overlapping activity or how many times they'll hit a price level within that bar too. So it can constantly, vacillate, if you will, up and down, up and down, up and down, and then this profile will start building itself. So I'm interested in not taking so much I say setups from areas that have this going on. I actually wanted this slide. I want to be a part of it sliding, moving away, and the value thinning itself out, and I'm exiting the trade with my money versus trying to get in it based on this. A lot of back and forth, a lot of back and forth, because this can get tricky because they can broaden it. They can make it wider, they can swing under it, come back up, and just make the profile wider and take advantage of you. That's all. And I would hate to see that happen to you. So as you can see from above up here, that profile is not wide up here. And that's why I say the mid of the bar falling below that low, you go ahead and jump it, a hard stop there, and let it, push away. Oftentimes, again, this is the no close level. This no close level, oftentimes they'll test it. And then you'll start getting that profile effect where it'll start giving you that back and forth, that back and forth, that back and forth. And then that's when you get the bell-shaped curve, if you will. And so it's meant to help you kind of, of course, mitigate risk and not have to risk as much on the back end. That's all. And yes, by the time the bar tick out, it can absolutely get you. It absolutely can get you if it wants to turn around before the bar completes itself. Now, let's assess some of the market structure information on the way up. All right, so the last one we had was here. This one, I don't think it made the cut. Now, let me just remove this because we went and took a look at the volume and we saw what that was. The mid here is not above this high. I can just straight away look at that. And so there may be some of you who's trying to buy the market on the way when it pulls back. Want to help you kind of do a fractal alignment here and get you to look at one time frame and kind of pick it apart. So that mid isn't above the high. It's not to say it won't pick it up. I mean, the bar patterns are there. It absolutely can get it done just off of the activity within these two bars. So it can get it done if it wants to. Now, the reason for this being the no close and the hard stop is because it went through this bar's low as well as above the bar. So if you're trying to make sense of the outside bar, it depends on how far the outside bar travels. I know that's again an old bar pattern, but it depends on how far it travels, whether or not that may turn into something profitable for you. It may. Okay, so now again, this mid is above this high. You're already trying to, be in that trade hard stop here, no close level here. They're banging their head up against the no close level here. Let's look here at the volume as well. I know we got it on the bar, but we can look down as well. And it's not. Actually is decreasing a little bit. Decreasing a little bit. Let's see what we got here. Let's see what we got. Let's see. They're hitting that no close level. And again, all of this information is universal in the sense of when it comes to utilizing the bar pattern. You find your supply and demand, your market structure. You would find it, I would say, the higher qualified ways of knowing that, hey, you should turn around. when you can get, this scenario to happen where they run away from it, get that mid above that pivot, you have something that's of some quality. Now here, I know they went up here and turned away. I see it. I know they did this. I know. I get it. And that's not to say that they, didn't go down. They did. I'm just telling you, like once they get up here and getting past this to me is what makes for to me a good trade. This one right here. Once they go past this, remember I told you about the mid reversal. That's important too. Once they go past areas, now that depends on how you're trying to trade it. If you're trying to do supply and demand, find the scenario that makes the most sense. That's all. Find the scenario that makes the most sense if it's present in your pivots. So when it pivot from up here and took off, if it gives you a scenario that makes sense, then go with that and don't worry about the turn itself. Because if they're able to absorb, what made sense, there's a good chance they might get past this too. And so why just be up here just waiting? Now I teach the trend, and that's what I do. And then you can counter trend if you like, but I teach trend. So we got one, two, that's three, that's four, five, that's six, and there's seven. So the distance of the seven, if you're new, I'm gonna just put this out. And if you guys already know it, again, just hit the like button. I only had like 4 people like the last video, and I thank you because I know it's at least 5 of you that's always consistent and always support the content. But there's people that view it, and so far I think it's like 40 views. I think it's like 40 views. I'm just trying to get at least 2 or 3 more of you to be kind enough to support the content because we want to help people. That's all. And let me show you. See, it's like at least 40 views, and I know at least 5 or 6 of you may have liked the information out of the 40, and so I know I do get at least 5 of you to say that you don't mind supporting the information, and so I wish just more of you would do it. That's all, because again, this is stuff that I again want to help other traders get in line with what makes sense. Want to help you guys get there. All right, so now they may go through this, but here's your trend distance. There's your trend distance right there from the trend. All right, so you don't have to be a supply and demand trader in order to be profitable. Just trade the trend. And so when they lift up, let's see how many bars we had on that lift because I know they lifted up. Let's see. We had 1, we had 2, we had 3, 4, 5, and we only had 6. So we only had 6 higher. Let me just move this out the way just to be certain. This. We'll move this little blue line out. Yep, we only had 6, so that's not 7. So they should turn back around and go down, and they did. So why not just trade with the trend? That's all. That's my point. Why not trade with the trend? But if you want to be a supply and demand trader, I'll show you some of that too. You want to kind of get an understanding of using the universal concept, because remember, universal is applicable to all cases. So the moment that you see the universal concept starting to turn on you, okay, so when you see it starting to turn on you, you may be headed for trouble. And so what is starting to turn on you? This is showing up on this side. That's all. It's just that simple. you know It's just that simple. So when they're doing all this, zigzag, jumping back and forth, going, this way, and just try to slow it down a little bit. That's all. Just try to slow it down a little bit and say, hey, here's a price flip. They're trying to flip price on me. Now, clearly, you already had your trend down here. You did. Now, if you're someone that would have picked it up from this zone, congratulations, you were able to get that to work. But let's count our bars from here. 1, 2, 3. There's 4, 5, 6, and there's 7. So they supposed to go the distance of the 7, and clearly they went that. Now over here you had it to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and there's 7. They gave you the distance of your 7. So you don't always have to just counter it. You don't have to do that. You really, really don't. There's opportunity for you to trade trend several times over. One, two, three, four, five, six, and there's seven. And let's see, one, two, three, four, five, six, seven. Now remember, they can't do both. It can't be both. It can only be one or the other. That's all. It can only be one or the other. I do understand this response though. Now let's take that universal approach and let's do this. I get the response. Absolutely, I get it. Okay, this mid is above this high. They're right here too. Let's just draw this out, and hopefully this all will begin to make a little bit of sense to you. I'm just trying to be a source of information and develop a library for you guys before I leave in January, so you can have an idea of how to trade markets professionally. And again, I'm a self-taught trader, been doing this for many years, lost so much money in order to understand behavior. Now, good for me. I like studying people, and people being myself, taking an evaluation of my own choices and seeing why do I keep repeating doing, the things that I do. And it led me on a journey to again start looking at the market and how to assess, and because there's people involved, and not just the people trading and losing, but the people that's programming these machines as well. And so there's information that they're providing you all the time. They're telling you what's possible. See how they ran through here. So that's my time with you guys. I do believe that they should get up there. Now the volume, again, if you want, pause the video. You're more than welcome to do so. As you can see, it's thinning itself out. There's no bell shape where they're headed right now in regards to the activity. I want you to be a part of that. I want you to be a part of that. I don't want you to wait until it gets, back down here into some I guess thicker profile area and then be looking for your opportunity. I tried to outline both. Trade with your trend. Learn to do that. And then that way when you counter and you don't get it right, it's okay because you actually made money on the way. You made money on the way and it's okay. And then, take it a couple times, just a couple times, but there may be a price flip, in front of you that's telling you that it's not going to stop, that it's not going to slow down. And so you may need to, shift your focus and say, hey, I don't need to, do the countering anymore. That may be over with. That's all. All right, so that's my time with you again. Just wanted to highlight the volume. Wanted to touch on the indicators. Wanted to make sure that you guys understand what it is that I have when you purchase the tools. Of course, those that already purchased them. If you have any questions about the indicators at all, or if you run into any problems, just let me know. You shouldn't, but if you do, just let me know. I'm always available, and you can contact me via email or phone call at any moment. Okay. And again, just some simple stuff. Just want to make sure that you guys can see the chart objectively. That's all. All right. So that's my time with you. And again, in January, I will be leaving you guys. I may do a video once every 2 or 3 weeks, but I'll be leaving you guys. And so I can't keep up with what's going on here. I got of course other obligations, and of course there's enough information here. It really is to sustain you moving forward. That's kind of all I wanted to do anyway, was give you a library so you can kind of comb through it and be able to retain information and become profitable. All right, so that's my time with you, and we're going to be taking a look at the NQ sometime maybe latter next week. See if they can get out of that congestion that they're in. I know they're doing like a lot of swinging right now, so we'll see if they can make either target. We want to see them get up to that outside of the pivot on the daily, or see if they'll drop down, kind of clean everybody out, and then take off and go and do that. All right, so again, if you don't mind, support the material. I wish you all the best with your trade. Take care.